I'm in the game. I'm in the game. Hello, I'm in the video with my daddy.
What's going on, everybody? So it looks like everybody's got jokes today because of Papa Dan. Looks like it. But anyway, so today we got Todd H on. Sorry about it being on a Sunday, but it's the only time we could meet up. I've been kind of busy, and it looks like the chat's kind of popping. So we're gonna get started, and we're gonna be meeting Todd H from YouTube. So, now the computer. What's going on, man?
What's happening?
So plug your channel for a quick minute.
Well, so basically it's Todd H, and the other part of it is Lugnuts Hot Rod Garage. And it was just Lugnuts is something that one of my car buddies would always call me. So it just felt natural to lead that into the channel. But yeah.
No, I mean, and people will get this at some point, but like we're what, 3 hours from each other, 2.5 hours from each other?
Yeah.
You're in Southern Oregon, right?
Yeah.
So, and that'll bring up questions later, I'm sure. But how did you get into the hobby?
It was kind of strange, actually. So and some of the people that follow my channel know that I've got a 1-to-1 68 Camaro. And in the spring and summer, I do car shows, and sometimes I'll drag race it a couple of times a year and all that. Well, come wintertime, as you know, here in Southern Oregon, the weather isn't very conducive to driving a hot rod around all the time. And so I'd be pretty bored.
You'd learn how to drift better.
Yeah, true. This is true. But yeah, so I was just bored one day, and I was surfing YouTube, and came across a Dr. Cranky video, and initial thought was, what's a Dr. Cranky? And so I clicked on the video and was just blown away at what he was doing with model cars. And it wasn't anything I would have ever even dreamed of doing, and had any idea that the hobby had progressed the way it had. So time went on. I was watching Dr. Cranky videos, and then I started watching Fast Jimmy 71, and oh gosh, Chris over at Classic Plastic, and I just got into it and started buying kits and bought a paint booth, and I did some rattle can stuff at first, still do, but thought, yeah, this paint booth and airbrush thing seems really cool. So I just kind of jumped in with both feet.
Now, see, for me, it was Chris Cortell. That's who got me. And then I found Dr. Cranky. Yeah. So we're kind of opposite on that regard, right?
However, love them both. They're both still, yeah. I follow everything those guys do.
So you've been on YouTube for a while. How do you like the YouTube community?
It's great. I did my first video January of 2014, which hopefully nobody goes back that far and looks, because it was horrible. But it was really great because I had people started commenting right away, and I was like, dang, because I was scared to death, and people started commenting and just said, hey, keep doing it, have fun with it, keep learning, because I wasn't sure how my stuff was going to turn out, and I was just going to start implementing these techniques that I've seen all these people do. And but yeah, the community's been great. I got involved early on. They used to have a Secret Santa thing, and so I don't remember who sponsored that, but they had a deal where they chose a YouTube modeler. And so I went out and bought a kit and sent it off. I don't remember who I sent it to. It was real early on when I got started. And the community everybody's been amazing, and they've been very helpful, and they're willing to help you out. If you got questions or you want to know how they did something, I've never had anybody tell me, go figure it out on your own. They say, this is how I do it. Give it a try. See if it works for you.
You know what? It seems like in the last couple of years, that's been the attitude, and it's been really, really awesome to see. I love the fact that we all help each other out.
Yeah.
It is so awesome to see all that.
Yeah.
But the reason I asked that is because up here, there's not much of them. I got to drive 45 minutes north to, there is, a small club here, but it's not a group that I deal with very much.
Yeah. And honestly, buddy, you're ahead of me, because to my knowledge, there's nobody down here in the Medford area where I'm at as far as a model car club. It seems like everybody, the core group of people that I follow real close on YouTube now, they're all back east. And it feels like we're left out. If you want to get on an airplane and fly and go to Jacksacon or some of these real big shows that they have out there, that'd be great. But that just kind of hasn't been in the cards for me. So this is the closest way that I can stay in touch with the YouTube community and some of the friends that I've made on here.
It's crazy how much YouTube you can deep dive into it, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a bunch of guys that I talk to from the East Coast that have a completely different experience from us on the West Coast.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It's
for sure. We're on an island out here, it feels like. Especially you and I being basically in Southern Oregon. We're on an island.
Well, and the hobby's portrayed different here.
Yes.
The hobby is so treated different here.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And so we're going to jump into some of the tools that you like to use.
Well, oddly enough, I just bought me a pair of these God Hands nippers. These were the first pair that I bought, and they were fine. They still work fine. But I thought, well, I'll step up and get the God's Hands, and these things are amazing. They clip the parts off the tree. I didn't think I would notice much of a difference, but they're great. I love them. That's probably that, along with the good old trusty number 11 hobby knife. I use that a lot, and probably my paint booth and airbrushes. I've got the Nero. Huh?
What paint booth do you have, and why do you like it?
I've got I just actually picked up the Pace. It's right there, Pace Peacekeeper. It's the Super Mini 24, and I got it 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's awesome. I had the Artograph, and I think it's the same one that Micromark sells, and it was the 30-inch one. And I liked it, but what I ended up realizing, especially when I'm painting bodies, is it just would not evacuate the fumes from the room anywhere near what I needed it to. So I had it for a long time. I stuck with it and tried to figure out ways to get it to work better for me, and I just couldn't. And so I was looking at one of these and saw some videos on these, and everybody was raving about how great they worked. So I got one, and it's been fantastic.
And so how can you use rattle can in the house with that, or is it just
they don't recommend it. It's set up. They want you to pretty much just do it with an airbrush.
Because there's some of those that the fans are equipped in them to where they can handle aerosol cans, and some of them aren't.
Right, and I think this one is set up to where you're not supposed to. Of the YouTube videos that I saw on it, I didn't see anybody using a rattle can, and when some of their information that I saw on their website, it's not anything they recommend. So I don't know if somebody could do it or not. If somebody out there has done it, let me know. Because what I do now, especially with it not being super warm yet, is I'll grab my part, get it ready to paint. And if I'm doing rattle can or if I'm doing primer, which I usually do with a rattle can, I'll run outside, spray it real quick and run back in the house and set it in the deal to dry. But yeah.
And that's even a challenge here in Oregon too.
Yeah.
Not easy sometimes, right?
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. But it's worked out so far. I've gotten that to work out pretty good, because a lot of people say, well, if it's below, 60 degrees or whatever, you probably shouldn't be spray painting. Now, I'm not out there spray painting bodies, but I do a lot of my priming is with rattle cans, and that's how I've usually had to do it. Now, obviously, if it's raining, I'm not going to do that, but if it's just cold and it's not raining, I'll run outside real quick, shoot my primer on, and run back in the house. And we got a lot of people in the chat.
Yeah, there's like I said, the chat was probably going to be pretty popular today. And it seems like it's going really, really well, and everybody's getting along too. So
yeah, Brian just said on there that he uses rattle cans with his and he's not had any problems. So I may give that a shot. Probably have to change the filters more often, because the rattle cans obviously dump out a whole lot more paint than the airbrush necessarily needs to.
Well, and you'll know the first time if it works or not is when you walk out of that room.
Yeah, exactly.
So what airbrush are you using with your paint booth?
So I've got three of them. I've got the Awada Neo, and this one's been working really well. Before I had stopped on, when I was on my hiatus there for a couple of years, I have this Awada CS. This one I've got to do some work on, because when I plug it into my compressor, when you want air to come out, you push the button down. Well, this one's not working. So evidently, before I went on my hiatus, I didn't clean this very well. And then the other one that I just got is the Grex. And this one's got a 0.5 needle, and I'm going to use this mostly for painting bodies. The Neo and the other one I'm going to use for painting smaller parts. But I have not used this yet. This is brand new. I don't know if you followed Hunter over at Showtime Studios, but he likes this really well. And so I went out and got me one.
Yeah, no, those are, I've got a Posh H and a bunch of the Badger stuff. So
okay.
That's basically what I've been using. But, I always try to ask those questions because everybody has their unique thing.
Right. I tried the Posh or Pache. I'm not sure how they say it, but I had one of those early on, and I kind of I struggled with it and couldn't really get it to work for me. And so I traded it to somebody in the community for a kit or something, shipped it off to them. They got the airbrush and I got my kit, and we were happy. That's the other thing that's kind of cool about the community is, some of the things that you can do like that with people in the community and help somebody else out, and you're getting helped out. And this has just been amazing. I love it.
Yeah, and I did put the link for his channel in the chat, so you guys that aren't subbed to him can find the link. Also, yeah, the Posh H is super easy. Yeah, I agree. You can shoot just damn near anything through it.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that thing.
Yeah, and I think isn't that the brush that Don Yost uses?
I think he uses the VL, or maybe it
yeah.
is the Posh H. But he's a posh guy, I think.
Yeah. And he does paint jobs I could only dream of doing. So
he has his process, right?
Yeah, and it works very well for him. Yeah, this thing's the first shiny paint job in the 8 years I've been doing this hobby. This is the shiniest paint job I've done yet. And I'm pretty happy with it. It worked out pretty well, and so we'll see how it goes. The other stuff, most of what I did really wasn't super shiny. I kind of got into, since I caught on to Dr. Cranky early on, I really liked the kind of the crusty, rusty stuff. So I did that. In fact, this 50 Chevy, honestly, I built this. This thing is probably, I think it was the third build I did after coming to the hobby. And this is the one that I'm still most proud of. I've got, I put a big block in it, big block Chevy. I made solder out of solder. I made headers out of solder. I don't know how well that's showing up on here, but I even put a Dr. Cranky decal on the top of it because I ended up putting this. He used to do calendars for the community, and
and the calendars and the playing cards and all. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I still have some of the cards, and then this is the calendar that I made honorable mention in. It's towards the back, but I'm in there. And that was my third build. I hadn't before the two builds prior to this, I hadn't built a model since I was like 7 years old. And really owe it all to the community. These were all techniques and stuff that I saw in the community. I wouldn't have thought to do the salting technique to get the rust to show through the paint and all that.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask you, if you used his salt technique on that.
Yeah. The thing that's funny about that is that I didn't do enough layers. Basically, I just shot the body with the rusty looking primer, and then I sprayed the water on it, and then sprayed the paint on there, or I salted it, and then I sprayed the paint on there. But I should have done more layers. I did a few more layers on this buddy build. And this turned out a little bit better, but this one took a dive off of a desk that I had where I was living before, and it came apart. So I gotta fix it and put it back together. But as you can see, I really like these 1950 Chevy pickups. But yeah.
So that was the airbrushes you use. What are the paints you using?
Mostly I'm using Tamiya and these Testers extreme lacquers. I'm having really good luck with those.
How do you like those? Are you, because you're not using those out of the can, right?
I didn't on this. I did the airbrush, and I decanted this one. Now I did do the frame on the 29 Roadster that I'm doing right now, and I did that out of the spray can, and it worked great. They're awesome. I mean, it worked really well. The Tamiya paints. So like, for example, I use the Tamiya paint. So this is for one of the seats on the 29 Roadster.
Oh, okay.
And I really like the look of that Tamiya buff paint, I think it is. Oh gosh, I don't know if I can read that. I don't know if that's buff or not. Yeah, this one's buff. So this is the outside color of the seat.
Okay.
And it looks really, I really like how this makes interiors look. So that's what I use, and that's the XF57.
So you say buff paint. Why I don't have Tamiya, so
Oh, okay. Well, that's what they call the color. I don't know if it's going to
okay,
show up on the
okay,
camera,
okay.
but it's called buff, BUFF.
Okay.
It's just the color.
Okay.
And,
I was like, did they come up with a new paint line?
no, the only thing new is I guess Tamiya has these lacquers now, and I haven't tried these yet. Rambler 69 Old Tom was telling me about these, so I'm going to give these a shot. The other ones that I showed you is the they're like an alcohol based paint.
Well, that's alcohol based, right? The lacquer one.
Well, it's got a different Tamiya makes a different thinner for it. It says it's a lacquer thinner.
But the okay, so I could be wrong on this, and the chat will correct me. I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, I could be wrong too.
But the Tamiya line is acrylic, right? And then they do have the enamel line, right?
Yeah, these first ones here, these are their the acrylic paint. It even says acrylic paint on there.
Okay.
And then these, let me grab this. I'll grab a different color, but that one clearly says it's lacquer.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like I said, I haven't tried them yet. I have used these, and pretty much you can either spend the money and get Tamiya's thinner, the X20A thinner, this stuff here.
Yeah.
Or, you can use just regular isopropyl alcohol to thin them or clean your brushes with. Either one seems to work. The other one just a little cheaper than Tamiya's.
Use Mr. Hobby leveling thinner on paint, either the lacquer or the acrylic. Oh, okay. That's a good tip.
I've been wanting to try that stuff. I think it was Brian's channel, and I've seen another channel where somebody's using that Mr. Hobby leveling thinner, and I'm going to order me some of that. I want to try it.
Yeah, I've got to order me some too, but one day, right?
Yeah.
In fact, I have to schedule Brian an episode. I've got to get a hold of him.
Yeah, he's awesome. He does the Friday night hangouts, and that's a good time. I mean, Fred Henry's on there and Rick Zink, and there's just it's a good time. Of course, those guys last way longer than I do. I'm usually not on there. When I'm on there, I may be on there an hour or two, and I'll do a little bit of modeling or whatever, but it's mostly just listening to those guys. Back and forth. It's a good time. Oh, hey, there's Pappy.
Fred's always late, but we let him slide. No, so the other thing is cars mostly what you work on?
Yeah, I've got, well, when we were talking off air, I've got that one Bandai kit. It's a Star Wars X-Wing fighter. But my stash is mostly all cars. I was in the Air Force, and I worked on KC-135 aircraft. So I'm trying to find a KC-135 model. I need to probably get on eBay or Amazon or something, but my hobby shop doesn't have any tanker aircraft that I've been able to find. So I'd like to build one of those because that's what I worked on when I was in the Air Force.
No, it's super cool that I mean, and that's the great thing about some of the modeling lines is there's something for everybody.
Yes. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the card thing is just more natural to me because for those that follow my channel, I've got a 1-to-1 68 Camaro. And so I'm coming in this from being a car guy anyway. And so it just felt like I've got enough to learn as it is. I at least want to start with a subject matter that I know, that I know what I'm looking at and what I'm doing, you know, at least from that aspect of it. Yes,
Yeah.
Papa Dan did pull me to the dark side.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that group build, right?
Right. Yeah, if I can ever get done with this, I mean, I've been working on this kit for almost 2 months. So as soon as I can get this done, that might be the next thing I do, just so that I don't have to do any painting or anything, and just, you know, get something put together a little bit quicker, maybe. So I'm a slow builder.
So do you participate in any of the group builds at all?
You know what? I haven't. And there's been several. I haven't even done any appreciation builds yet, because oh, thanks, Fred. Appreciate that. I get really, I don't know, when there's a time frame put on me for this, I just haven't. It hasn't been because I don't think that the people that are doing appreciation builds deserve it, and I would love to do it. When they start talking about any kind of a time frame that it needs to be done by, I don't know. I just haven't participated. I need to jump in on one at some point, and I think I will, but to this point, I have not.
Well, that's understandable. I mean, because you also work too, right? So you got to manage the home life plus work.
Right. Well, and up until, tomorrow I start my new job, but prior to that, I worked 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, 1 week, and 12 hours a day, 6 days the next. So I had to work every other Saturday, and I didn't get a day off during the week. For having to work that Saturday, I just got to work Saturday and do another 10, 12-hour day. And so it makes it tough. I would get a little bit of bench time sometimes in the evenings or whatever, but now this new job, it's weekends off, and I don't have to work 12-hour days, at least from what they were telling me in the interviews. So we'll see how this plays out this week. Like I said, tomorrow's my first day, so I don't fully know what to expect yet. I'm just going on what they tell me.
So how does your work life help your hobby?
It doesn't. It hinders it. I'm a truck driver, so
Okay.
yeah. And when I first started truck driving, I was on the road, but there just wasn't enough room. I've heard of some guys. I think Rick Zink was telling me he drove truck, and he would bring bodies with him, and he would do work with some bodies and maybe get some painting done on the body or something. But I just couldn't. I wouldn't be able to focus on it the way I want to when I was driving trucks. So it just truck driving's long hours, and when I was over the road, I was gone a lot, and it just made it really difficult to do anything as far as my hobby. I would follow videos. You know, I was still following everybody's videos because I've only been driving truck for 2 years. Like I was saying earlier, I got involved in YouTube community 8 years ago. So even when I was on my hiatus and not building, I don't want this to sound bad, because I appreciate everybody that's subscribed to my channel and people that I've subscribed to, but you find that after a while, there's a core group of people that you probably follow a little closer than some of the others. And I always stayed active in the community as far as watching those videos and commenting on people's videos and stuff. So that was about what I did when I was on the road.
Well, and like everybody's saying, the group builds, if you're late, you're late, right? It's not the end of the world too.
Yeah, I just saw that.
A lot of people understand that too, because I mean, every Friday I'm at this bench.
Yeah.
Saturday or whatever, the hour and a half for the episodes, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, I go another 6 days before I get to this bench again.
You don't get any bench time in the evening then after work?
Not having a 9-year-old, no, not really.
No.
So
I get it.
It's you definitely got to, you know. I'm one of those that if I go more than a couple weeks at this bench, I'm told to come out here. Right?
That's awesome. Yeah, no, And this is going to be the first year. Normally in the past, even when I was active before, I would take a hiatus in the spring and summer because the car thing was just so busy with car shows and cruises and races and different shows that we would travel to. And my bench time went pretty dormant in the spring and summertime because of that. But this year I'm going to try and keep this going year round. There'll be some bigger car events that I go to where I'm gone for 3 or 4 days. Obviously I'm not going to be building models, but I'm not planning on taking a hiatus this year like I've done in years past. So I want to.
So with the 1-to-1 car, right?
Yeah.
Where are you going for? You going in Northern California, or are you coming up?
Well, I'm not going this year, but I've been to Reno at Hot August Nights with my car. I went to Cool April Nights in Redding. But the one that I mostly go to is probably halfway between you and me, and that's in Roseburg.
Okay.
They've got their Graffiti Weekend. It's the weekend after 4th of July, and that is my favorite. There's some, I know this is supposed to be model related, but there's just crazy badass street cars that show up to that show in Roseburg. And I had no idea until about 12 years ago. I had a car buddy kept telling me every year, he's like, dude, you got to go to that show. And I'm like, it's Roseburg. What's in Roseburg? There's nothing in Roseburg. I'm not wasting my time. Every year he kept bugging me, and finally I caved and I went. And even when he was telling me how cool it wasn't doing it justice. So it's by far my favorite car event. And we go to that every year.
Yes, I have heard about that show. I've never been to it because usually I end up working because 4th of July. Yeah. So this might be the first year I actually can attend to that one.
If you can go, do yourself a favor and go. If you're at all a car guy, there's nothing like it. There's guys up there that show up from Portland and all around. And there's guys bringing cars that have 1,500, 2,000, over 2,000 horsepower. They're driving them on the street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard. I have heard about it.
My car is respectable and it's decent, but it's not no 1,500 horsepower deal. Compared to some of my buddies' cars, it's a grocery getter, but it's got a 612-inch big block in it, and it makes, 850, 900 horsepower. But
that's pretty decent, though.
It runs pretty good. It's running 995 in the quarter mile, 136 miles an hour, and I drove it to the track and I drove it home. So yeah, it's fun, but compared to some of my friends' cars, especially some of my Roseburg buddies, it's not fast.
Oh yeah, I bet. But I mean, still, that's moving.
That's getting it done. It's definitely a respectable street car, and that's all I want. I can't afford to do anything else. I think when I was watching when Fred Henry was on here, and he was talking about the money that can be spent on these things, and it's ridiculous. It's not ridiculous. It's what I enjoy doing, but it's a crazy amount of money. And if I want to go faster than I'm going now, I mean, I've got friends that have $50,000-$60,000 just in their engines.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's crazy.
I've probably got about 20 in my engine.
So this is how I'm going to bring it back to the hobby. Have you ever seen something at one of the shows and tried to build it?
Not yet, but that's my plan. In fact, I've actually started on building a replica of my car. But I thought when I came back from this last 2-year hiatus, I just wanted, everybody was raving about this 29 Model A Roadster. And I thought, all right. So I went out and got me a couple of them. And it is a nice little kit. And I just thought this would be a great way to just kind of get my feet wet and get back into it, because there's quite a bit of modification and aftermarket parts that I'm going to have to get for the replica of my car. And so that's just going to be a long-term build. Hopefully I can get it done by the time I die or something. It's going to be a while before that one's done. But yeah, there's a couple of my friends' cars that I want to do replicas of for them, and I would probably just give those to them if they turn out. I actually have one. I'm doing one for a buddy of mine that's done a lot of work on my car, on my 1-to-1 car. I'm building a 55 Chevy that's a replica of his 1-to-1 55 Chevy that he's doing. So yeah, I guess to answer your question, it turns out, yeah, there's a couple of them that are in the works, but there's more of them that I want to do.
Anyhow, yeah, Terry, yeah, you're absolutely right on that.
Oh yeah.
You can spend just as much as you want or as little as you want just to get the same.
It all depends on how much fun you want to have, Josh.
Yeah.
The more fun it is, the more expensive it's going to be.
See, Fred, I don't disagree. All that stuff's expensive, but then the tickets that come with that are more expensive. And that's my problem with NOS.
Hey, Josh, you want to hear what's funny? I have never been pulled over in my hot rod. I've gotten tickets in everything else that I drive. I have never gotten a ticket in my hot rod, and
do you know which one the gas pedal is?
Oh yeah. We've done several pretty nasty burnouts from stop signs and stoplights and over overpasses, and yeah, no, I don't know why. Because there's certainly been times where I probably should have gotten a ticket, but I've never gotten a ticket in my hot rod.
No, yeah, it's crazy how, yeah, it.
Yeah, like Fred's saying, how fast do you want to go? Yeah, I mean but it, like you say, with any hobby, I mean, even this one, you don't need to go out and buy a $500 paint booth and a couple $100 airbrushes to do this hobby. That's kind of the neat thing about it. I just I guess early on wanted to set myself up, and I was watching what all these people were doing with the hobby, and I just thought, well, I want to be able to do some of that stuff. So I started accumulating some of that stuff. I've got this part here I got from Micromark, and this is what I use. And I saw this on Dr. Cranky's channel, or I wouldn't have known anything about it, but this is what I use to make sure all 4 of my tires are on the ground. And I use, Dr. Cranky did a clinic, and he uses, I don't know if he still does, but at the time I was coming into the hobby, he uses the 5-minute resin to set his wheels on, so that he has the time. So if he's got it on that little jig I just showed you, this gives you the time to make sure, like sometimes you might make the hole a little bigger or whatever in case one of the tires isn't touching. But the 5-minute resin gives you that time to make sure you can kind of go around, kind of push down on all the corners of the model and make sure that all 4 tires are touching the ground. There again, that's not something that somebody has to go out and buy to build a model car. But I want to, since being a car guy, I want to be able to have my car be as realistic as possible. I'd like, I want to look at my models and go, yeah, that could work in real life. I try to do that as much as I can. I don't know if it always works out that way, but like when I lowered the calendar build that I did when I was in Dr. Cranky's calendar, I lowered this. And honestly, I don't even remember if I did it, how I did it, but I think I took the axle and put it on top of the leaf springs. And I don't remember, this thing's 7 years old. I don't remember what all I did, but when I set it next to, I built the Union 76 one, and this one's all stock. It's got the 6-cylinder in it. I just wanted to make it look like the box art. I thought that old school Union 76 gas truck was really cool. And this is all stock. I didn't lower it or anything. And that the Dr. Cranky build, when it's on the ground sitting next to this one, the roof comes up to about right here. I wasn't trying to, I couldn't gauge how low I wanted it. I just lowered it as much as I could to where I thought in real life that could work. I didn't want the wheels touching the top of the fenders or anything like that. So I don't know.
Well, and sometimes you have to modify the model just so you find that sweet spot, but then you can go just a little too much or a little too not enough.
Right.
You got to find.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Fred. Absolutely.
Fred's not wrong on that.
Yeah, I got my hot rod sitting up on jack stands right now. The governor and the transmission decided to chew up the gear on the end of it. So the last time I tried to drive my hot rod, it was to go to a buddy's funeral, and it wouldn't shift out of first gear. And when I had it out 2 months before that, it worked fine. I mean, with hot rods, it just seems like it's always something. It's always something. I love it. It's fun, but I'm getting to the point now where I just kind of want to enjoy it and not have to spend money on it anymore, which is why I'm not going to try and make it go faster than what it already goes. It's where it's at.
So are you one of those guys that hears something wrong and then you have to go turn through the motor to get to it?
Well, yeah, but my buddy that helps me out with it a lot will tell you that I tend to make my problems his problems. So when I hear, because I know the car so well, I know if something's not right. And so he says I make my problems his problems. So that's kind of what I do. I'm a tinkerer. I'm not a real super heavy mechanic. I can't fabricate. My buddies put my roll bar in my car, and he was all over that thing welding, and he can do anything on one-to-one cars. I don't mind. I'll experiment with that stuff on my model, because if I screw up on my model, I'm out what, 25, 30 bucks, or if it's 40% off at Hobby Lobby, I'm out 15 bucks or 17 bucks. If I screw up on my hot rod, that's a whole different ball game. So I could lose a whole lot of money if I don't do something right on that, nor do I want to experiment on my hot rod. So if it's not something I kind of already know how to do, I'm probably going to have someone else do it. And I've got lots of friends that help me out with that. And so it's all good. But I've learned a lot over the years.
Like, how do I say this? You know how you like the 3D pens, not the platforms, right? But the pen. Right. And I was watching this guy. Is a video from a couple years ago when those first came out, and he was taking the 3D print and making the weld marks on the model.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I would have never thought of that. But
yeah, no, yeah. There's the one thing I've learned about this community is there is some crazy talented people out there, and anytime I've posted a video and I get these people that comment on my videos that do and tell me, hey, that looks good. Hey, you did a great job on that. It means a lot to me, because a lot of these people are the ones that I'm using their techniques and their ideas. I'm not smart enough to come up with this stuff on my own.
Yeah, exactly. There's times you need help, and then there's other times where you're able to help other people too.
Right.
So it's a give and take.
Maybe there's people that have hit my page and they saw something and thought maybe it might work for them. But as a rule, everything I do on my model kits is stuff that I've learned from, the usual suspects: Chris at Classic Plastic, Dr. Cranky, Pappy, Fred Henry, Fast Jimmy 71. There's a bunch of them I'm probably forgetting, but a lot of the old timer guys. The
other one I would add to that is Dirk.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's a ton of them. Then there was, Chris Chapman. That guy did a lot of cool stuff, and he does a lot with just plain old cheap acrylic paints. He can make those work really well. I'll use those on smaller parts, but I tend not to use them on bigger stuff. especially like bodies and stuff. I want to use something that I can try and sand on. Although with that being said, Brian does a lot with those Createx Wicked paints, and I want to try those. I'm accumulating some stuff from the last video he showed on how to use them. And so I'm accumulating some stuff. I'm going to try those paints.
Well, and that's the convenient thing about Hobby Lobby, right? You can go in there and buy that stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And we've only had our Hobby Lobby for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years. We just got ours. So it's my favorite store.
Yeah.
I try to do stuff with my local hobby shop, but and there's a lot of guys in the community, they're all about supporting their local hobby shop. My issue has been with it. When I first started, I went down there and I bought quite a few of my initial kits from my hobby shop. I bought paints, and I still go in there and buy stuff occasionally, but they never have model kits on sale. And even if you go in there and buy 3 or 4 or 5 at a time, they won't. That price is what it is. They don't. It's like they don't care. It's like, yeah, there's the kit. If you want it, this is what it costs. And I'm not saying that they need to give you a discount every time you go in there and buy something, but if you've done a fair amount of business with them and they can't, hey man, yeah, take care of you on it once in a while. I'm not saying give it to you, but maybe give you a little bit of a discount or whatever for having been doing business with them, especially with how some of these local hobby shops are really struggling because of the Hobby Lobbies and the Amazons and all that stuff. You'd think they'd want to.
And I don't know if you've been to Eugene Toy and Hobby in a while, right?
Mm-mm.
So when I was a kid, I would go in there, and you would they had a section, like one aisle and then the backside aisle full, like all nothing but model stuff. And I want to say within the last 5 years, it's now all to one side. And what they've done now is they've got a section up on the back wall of just the supplies you need. And that constantly changes. The kits don't move because of the price, but I go in there just for supplies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
and I have bought kits recently from the local hobby shop. If it's something that I don't want to wait on to get shipped, or I don't want to pay shipping on it, or if Hobby Lobby doesn't have it, I'll still buy a kit on occasion from my local hobby shop. But it's just hard because they never have them on sale. They'll never do sales on them. And I don't know. It's expensive enough as it is. I'm going to go where I can get a good deal on a kit and buy it there.
Yeah, no, I totally understand. I'm part of the broke modeler society myself. I understand. I understand the struggle, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's some of the crazy thing about this hobby is it's not getting any cheaper.
No.
But it seems like, the tool section is definitely.
Yeah.
It's just hard to explain. And then that's why we're losing all these nice hobby shops too, because
they're just hell bent on getting their money out of them, I guess. I don't know. And I don't know. I don't pretend to know the business that well, or what it takes to run a hobby shop. I don't even know if there's really that much of a markup in models, but my gosh, Hobby Lobby does pretty good. They've got their models 40% off every other week.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, it's the struggle, but it's that one topic in this hobby that, and I think that's why some of the hobby is dying speech comes from, because the kits are getting so expensive. Kids aren't doing it anymore. And then you look at some of the stuff they're buying now, and you're like, well, why aren't you doing that?
Right. Well, yeah. And then you got the kit, but then you got the paint, and you got the glue, and, whatever else it takes to get the thing put together. You got your sanding sticks, and It's just, and it's fine. I mean, like I say, at the end of the day, if I screw up something on my model, I'm out, what, 30, 40 bucks. If I screw up something on my hot rod, I'm out thousands of dollars. So
yeah,
tens of thousands of dollars in a lot of cases.
I like I said, I understand. And then we don't even want to talk about my other hobby because it's just as expensive.
What's your, oh, well, the 3D printing?
No.
Okay.
No. Gun stuff.
Ah, yes, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I think Pappy's in on that as well. I'm sure he'll chime in on that.
Yeah.
But speaking of 3D stuff, that's something else that I'm considering. I want to be able to print wheels and stuff that I can't, you can't necessarily find in a kit. And so I'm at some point probably going to get a 3D printer. I don't know what direction yet I want to go with that, other than I think I want to do the resin because everybody says that's going to give you the best detail of the part. You're going to get, the highest definition out of that.
But you have to remember that's all settings, right? You have to set it to that stuff too. And then,
Gotcha.
and once you kind of get into it, and it's all like you definitely got to be a computer guy because it's definitely
there's a learning curve.
Not hard, but that learning curve at first, like this is how I fixed it.
Yeah.
This happened. Well, and then you adjust it here.
Yeah. No, I know it's going to be a challenge, but it's going to happen at some point. I don't know if it'll be this year. If it does, it might be towards the end of the year or something. But yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, I figured.
Great investment. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I've got my resin printer plugged in. Yeah. Yeah. I'm waiting for the weather to warm up because I'm out because it's got to be out here in the garage, right? So I'm letting the weather warm up before I start tinkering with that again because I had all kinds of issues.
So there's a temperature range that those work better in too, then I take it.
Well, the PLA stuff, which is what I mostly use, and that's what that cyborg figure is I showed you before.
Oh, okay.
But that I can run in here year round because it warms itself up. I mean, I can put an enclosure over it, which should make it just as hot.
Gotcha.
But the resin stuff, like if it gets too hot out here in the garage, it'll crack.
Oh.
Or you don't quite get all the resin out of the part. Like you hollow it out and you have liquid resin inside the part.
Yeah.
And then, and then it gets hot and then it just disintegrates. It's stuff I've been watching other people do.
Okay.
And then writing stuff down and, so I figure in a month I'll try it again. Because I did get the Spider-Man figure that I printed out done. But like I said, it's a learning curve and you got to figure it out if you want to keep doing it.
No, for sure.
Like and some of the stuff that I found out, like I went and bought the wash and cure station, and I probably shouldn't have because all the stuff that I thought was going wrong with my printer wasn't. It's just stuff I've learned, right? But
you don't need a wash and cure station when you get a 3D printer, or should you get one?
I'll know here in a little bit, right?
Oh. Well, we'll be in touch on that stuff. When I get closer, I'll have more questions when I get closer to buying one, and I'll get some advice from you.
No, it's well, like I said, I have it now, and I always buy, and this is my trick, right? I always buy stuff on Black Friday.
Oh, okay.
So like PLA. It's hella cheap on Black Friday. So I'll buy normally it's like $10 to $20 a roll, right? Mm-hmm. Well, on Black Friday, they sell it for $5. So now I'm going to buy $100 still.
Right.
But I'm getting twice as much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
Now, is PLA the same as resin?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. So resin is its own thing. If you want a resin printer, you make sure that it says it's a resin printer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And even the resin side, like the printer I bought the year, not this last Black Friday, the year before, it was like $100 off.
Oh,
so
wow.
I took the plunge then. It's just a way that I keep the hobby affordable for me.
Gotcha.
Because, I don't make, being a production worker, I only work so many hours in a week.
Oh, no, I know. I did that for a long time.
So it's, it's a give and take, right? You just gotta, and there's all kinds of ways you can save in this hobby. Like even buying the resin on Black Friday, there's deals out there. You just got to find them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. See, Fred even says buy the printer and the wash cure station together.
Oh, okay. I think he's gotten into the 3D printing too. Fred, you've got all that stuff now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Even Papa Dan.
Yeah. Papa Dan, I saw he just got his. Yeah. 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 No, I'm going to end up with one. I had no idea when I started this hobby. I had no idea that the YouTube thing was going to become an extension of this hobby, and it's a hobby all on its own. And now 3D printing and all this stuff. It's just gone in directions I could have never imagined.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Got one. Yeah. I thought he did.
Yeah, but it's just another tool in the hobby, right? It's just another tool that, sometimes you need it. Sometimes you can work without it.
Yeah. Yeah. And for any newbies that are watching, you don't need all this stuff to put a model together. The reality is you need maybe a hobby knife. You probably ought to.
Well, okay.
This glue.
But if you're under 10, get a pair of snippers.
Yeah.
We don't want people cutting their fingers off. Right?
Absolutely. Well, you can get these snippers at Hobby Lobby for what, $4 or $5?
Yeah.
Cheap. Yeah. Yeah. If there's any kids in here, talk to your parents.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah.
But and a can of paint. You don't even have to buy hobby paint. You can, if Don Yost heard this, he'd probably crawl out of his skin. But you can go get cheap Rust-Oleum or something, or Krylon. Put paint on a model, especially if you're just starting out. But when you get older, it's fun to have all these toys and neat little tools and stuff. And for me, I definitely think as time goes on, it's made the quality of my builds better. The better the tools, the better the job's going to come out, right? In a lot of instances, if you have kind of an idea of what you're doing.
Yeah, it's super, super cool. The things that you learn as you go along. And then like on the Batmobile thing you commented on the other day, that was craft acrylic paint.
Really?
Yeah. But that's using that posh H because anything flows through it, right?
Right. What did you thin it with?
Probably water.
Just water? Yeah.
Probably water. But it's just, you find that sweet spot where that stuff will just flow.
Yeah.
And you just dust coat it like 12 billion times to get the, But, it is what it is, right? It is what it is.
Exactly. Now, do you use mostly acrylic paints?
So with my wife and son both have asthma really bad.
Oh, okay.
So I don't bring anything in the house other than acrylic. I think the harshest thing I have is the filler primer for the 3D printed stuff.
Okay.
Because that's automotive filler primer, right?
Right.
I open up the garage door I'm probably getting high just sitting in here from doing it yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
But you know, I try not to, like, if I was in the house doing stuff, I would still be painting out here because I just can't do it in the house with them.
Yeah, no, I get
And
it.
even the resin stuff, like the 3D printed resin stuff, like the ones that I bought last time, the smell, like the smell lingered into the house.
Oh, wow.
And it didn't do that. Like they were complaining the whole time.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so Frizzo, I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing. The washer fluid has, if you use the winter blend, it has alcohol in it. So you're basically speed drying the paint.
Yeah.
But if you want more of a control, because Pacific Northwest, it rains a lot here. So I went away from that for that simple reason. It's just, not saying it doesn't work. It just didn't work best for me at where I'm at.
Hey, Josh, I sprayed this with probably folk art or something. This was just a practice body from one of the 66 Pro Street Novas that, you steal the chassis out of and you don't actually build the car. But this paint, it dried so fast. I think it was drying. Of course, this was early on when I was first starting to mess with an airbrush, but it's kind of got a rough texture to it. And it's not real shiny, but I kind of liked how it turned out. But I just use this as a practice body for different things. But yeah, this was like the folk art paint. But you were talking about how fast it dries, and I think this stuff was drying before it actually hit the bottom.
Yeah, it's crazy. Brian never had luck with the craft acrylic stuff, and there's that. I think Brian's down in Atlanta. I think with Fred, where it's really humidity.
Yeah,
we probably had a struggle with that. But I'll tell you what, the Fred Henry build that I did, I used that army painter stuff. That stuff was like butter.
You like that stuff? I've been wanting to try that stuff too. I've heard that's pretty good. That's pretty good paint.
But here's the thing, with the miniature paint, it was because I went from craft acrylic, right?
Yeah.
It was the closest thing to craft acrylic paint. So it was a really easy transition for me.
Gotcha.
Because
you don't use any Tamiya paints?
No.
I
probably should, but I haven't. I did have some of it and I just didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
But I think some of that is, it rains so much up here. It didn't interact very well with it, but
Yeah. Nope. I feel your pain there, buddy. We're in the same boat.
Yeah. So we've hit that hour mark. Did you have any questions for me?
Well, I got a couple of my questions in during the regular part of the show. I will definitely be reaching out to you when I get ready to pull the trigger on a 3D printer and get some advice from you on that. And since you and I are basically the only ones in the community in the state of Oregon, maybe one of these days we should try and meet up somewhere or something and meet in person.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm.
Well, if you go to Roseburg this year for Graffiti Weekend, I'll be there. So maybe that would work.
Maybe. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that. But the thing that I was going to tell you, there are 4 other modelers on YouTube out of Oregon.
Oh, really?
That I know of.
The only other one I knew of was Styrene Junkie 73. Ron.
Then there's Rinaldi Studios.
Oh.
Rick Lawler. He's the AK guy.
Oh, okay.
Basically anytime you see anything with AK like painted, 80% of the time he painted it, and he's up in the Portland area.
Oh, Oh, okay.
And then there's, I want to say he's not the Portland area, but towards the coast. There's Ron Engler. But he's a truck driver too, so he's never home.
Oh, okay.
So like he has a channel, but he updates it with mostly this is what happened on the road today.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's Gilbert. Hey, Gilbert. Yeah. That guy, I love watching that guy paint figures. That guy is my hero when it comes to that stuff. He is amazing.
Well, if you're on Facebook, I could get you on the Facebook page for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, because I mean, and Gil, I don't know when we're gonna do it, but we're supposed to be having like a tutorial on how to paint the skin tone that he does.
Oh,
that's supposed to be coming up. I don't have no idea when we're gonna do it, but it's a future project for sure.
That would be awesome. Gilbert that guy is a freaking artist.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Oh,
I agree.
Amazing. Beautiful work that guy does.
Waving. Everyone. Yeah, see? Oh, you must have got in touch with him soon, Buster Beam. Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, that'll be cool. That'll be cool when you do that. I'll be watching that.
Like I said, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What, Frizzo? You can't. Oh, what happened here? You can't get Createx to work for me.
He needs to watch Brian's video. Brian did a video on it, and I think I made, because I don't remember if he covered everything in there, but he covered what he mixes with it, and it's all Createx products.
It's basically the same way I do it. So
yeah. And so I'm just gonna follow that, and then I'm sure there may be some other tricks to it, but I'll get a hold of Brian. And yeah, anybody else interested in that? Brian seems to be getting really good results with that. I definitely want to try it.
Yeah, see, even this is what. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
So Josh, are you going to be, are you guys going to be doing this together, and you're going to be spraying as well as Gil doing it, or what?
That's the idea. It's going to be kind of like a class situation.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, see, I that's why I want to do it, because I want to learn how to do it, because I'm going to be doing, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And getting the black skin tone for that guy.
Yeah.
It's not difficult, right? But I want to at least make it look realistic.
Yes.
Especially when you're dealing with figures that big, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'll be for sure watching that. Frizzo says he's watched the video, but I guess he's not having any luck. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody has different results, And
a lot of it is like, even with us being three hours apart, like, you don't get much rain, you get more snow, right?
Well, actually, we don't even really get that much snow. I mean, on occasion we do, but we don't get near the rain that you guys do. But it's still, in the wintertime, that's when we get our rains, pretty much in the wintertime and a little bit in the spring. And it makes it tough. But that's the nice thing about the booth is, for the most part, I've had pretty good luck with, I think it was, it had just got done raining when I sprayed this, I think last weekend in the booth. And then I sanded it, did like Don says, sanded it to 12,000 with the primer, painted it. I let it set for a week, and then I wet sanded it. yesterday to 12,000. There's no clear on this. I didn't put any clear on. I just wanted to see how shiny I could get the paint job. So
just jet black. I think he's talking about that paint job. I think
this is the paint on the 29, and it's got some bling in it. I don't know if the camera's picking it up on the lid or not, but there's some bling in there.
That's the gloss black one, right?
Yeah, this one's called Blazing Black. Let me get my readers on here. I'll give you the tester's number. 1832 Blazing Black Tester's Extreme Lacquer. That's what I used on the 29 body.
No, yeah, and the thing, like the Candy 2.0 line, and Gil's the one that told me this. They have an additive that you don't put in the regular Createx, but you use I want to say it's the 4013. It's the additive, and it's like the binder for that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not very, like, if I pulled out the Centurion, I did great till I went to clear coat it.
Oh, okay.
And then but I didn't know, right? And then I just made it work for me. Yeah, the 4030.
4030.
That's the one you need to use.
In fact, I actually think that's the one that I got. Like I said, I've started accumulating. No, that's the 4050. Yeah, 4030. And then I also got this one. But I guess there's a new one of these. I think it's 4055 or something. It's like a super high gloss. So
yeah, that one's new. My Hobby Lobby don't have that yet.
No, well,
don't have any of the new stuff yet.
Yeah, actually, I got all this on Amazon.
Ah, there you go.
So yeah. Hey, Josh, I did think of a question I wanted to ask you. How is it you're only at 350 some subscribers on your channel?
I don't know.
I mean, you do a lot for the community with these Meet the Modelers and stuff. How you only have, I was blown away when I was looking at your channel, and it's 350 some subscribers, and you've been on YouTube a long time.
But you know what? And how do I say this? The modeling community in the since COVID, let's just take the COVID part of it, right? And I was doing the podcast. I was doing Brian's got a thing here for you. No, that's just a reducer.
The 4030 is?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but
well, maybe Brian will chime in.
And that was kind of, like I was doing the podcast for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark and Gordon decided they didn't want to do it anymore. And then I had bought this streaming service thing. The 4050 can be used in place. Yeah, see, there's all kinds of helpful.
Well, there you go. If you get it all, you're going to be covered, right?
Well, and this is kind of the bad thing about Createx right now. They're changing everything right now. So everything that you used to do, now you're going to have to change a little bit.
I know that because I bought a big bottle of 4012, and now in Createx's videos that they're doing on YouTube, they're not recommending you use that anymore. They want you to use the 4011.
Yeah, see,
I don't know. It'll be a learning curve either way.
I agree, but I agree with that, Fred. It made the modeling community way better because there are so many people that are like a year or less in the, and it's just crazy how many people have started doing this. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But back to the YouTube thing. I don't know why. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't either. Because I think
when I started this, I was only at like 120, 150, something like that. And now I'm above 300. I don't know the actual number. I quit looking, to be honest. Mostly because it's like every week I get someone new. So it's the channel's growing, but it's also because I've put in a lot of time, work to make it grow too. Yeah. So and before I didn't have time. Like I was working 6 days a week. Then I had a 9, you know, he wasn't 9 then, but he's probably like 6 or 5 or
right.
You know, and it's just, it is what it is. I don't get mad. Like there's a couple modelers that I've talked to that you can tell that they're in this for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And you just got to slap that guy real quick and be like, hey, no, you're actually doing okay.
Right. I'm in that. Because I don't have anybody that does modeling around me, this is how I can show my work to a lot of these people that are now my friends and get some feedback on it. It makes it fun, and doing the videos makes it fun. I'm not in it to try to make money. I'm not going to charge anybody. And if somebody asks me a question, I'm going to give them an answer as best I can. I'm not going to hold anything from anybody, because everything I do, I learned from the YouTube community. So I get it. I just seems like with everything that you do for the community, I was just kind of surprised that seems to me like you should be up around 1,500, 2,000 subscribers. I'm kicking along, I think, at 580 some, but I didn't, I think the more content you put out there, the more videos you get out there, you're likely to stumble across a few more people who go, oh, hey, I'm not subscribed to him. And then you'll pick up a few here or there. But you do a lot for the community. So I'm surprised that you're not up there more.
It's but I also don't really pay attention to it much anymore. I'm just kind of doing my thing, and this is the direction we're going.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is some of my problem too, and I will say this, it's not, and I'll put this content back up here because it's a great comment.
Yeah.
But I don't do just cars. I do cars, planes, Gundams, 3D prints, spaceships. I don't just put myself in one box, right? I like to do a lot of different stuff. And that kind of hurts me a little bit with the YouTube community. But,
Well, but the YouTube community, there's armor builders out there. There's figure builders. I mean, look at Chris Cortell. That guy will build anything. Mm-hmm. He's a machine. That guy cranks out models weekly, it seems like, and he builds everything, and he's got like 6,000 or 7,000 subscribers. So I was thinking maybe since you do a bunch of, a little bit of everything, that would actually broaden your horizons as far as picking up subscribers.
But it's that I'm not really sure. And I think being that way on this channel, because you don't see the same thing every week. Like if I do a car, because a lot of the guys on here are all car builders.
Right.
I'll get 100 views on that.
Yeah.
But the last update on my Warlord Titan, 10, maybe.
Oh, wow.
6.
Yeah.
But before I started doing the Meet the Modeler stuff, I was getting 6 on everything.
Oh, wow.
So it's like I said, I'm working the channel.
Yeah. No, it's
just trying to make the channel grow, and it's been fun. I love doing these.
Oh, this is awesome.
Everybody enjoys these. Everybody, and I do share them around Facebook too, which
sure.
I'd love to put some of these, like figure out how to chop them up and put them on like Instagram or
I think
Instagram you're only allowed an hour.
Oh, gotcha.
But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but that's the answer I have. It's not necessarily, you know. And then, yeah, let's see. I just do. Yeah. I mean, that's basically all I can do. It is. Yeah, there's more episodes. I just, you know, like I've got to get Brian on here.
Well, there's Brian right there. Hit him up. Yeah, he needs to be on here.
I don't think Brian's on Facebook. So I have to I was going to try to get his email, but I'm not sure what he's going with that over there. But like I said, and then there's new people. Like I'd like to get some of the newer guys that have come across my channel too.
Right.
And then there was another guy up here that, and then a bunch of people have been asking about trying to get some of the UK guys on here.
Oh wow!
I'd love to do that, but it's the time difference, and I'm slowly trying to work on that a little bit. But
no, this is really cool. It's cool you do this, because a lot of times not too many of the modelers do live YouTube. You know what I'm saying? We just do videos, put it up there, and that's it. There's not any real interaction with the builder, you know, unless you want to, you know, ask a question in the comments or something.
Well, and
cool.
And you're doing the build, but they don't know a lot about you.
Right.
And that's what a lot of these are great for, is, you know, you get to take a little deep dive into like why they chose that paint line, right? Or what about them made them choose that build, right?
Yeah, or how they got in the hobby.
That's been some of the great things about this. And you're learning, everybody learns from one another on these. At least I think so.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I'll have to. Yeah, I'll be in touch.
Yeah. Gotta get Brian on here.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh, see that, and see you and I there again. You and I get hosed on that because we're freaking 3,000 miles away from these shows.
Yeah, you know what? But like, maybe not the one they went to yesterday, but like, I can't think of the Gen Con. No. Oh, I used to know the name of it. But it's the big one they have. It's where all the YouTube. I want to go to that one.
Is it JacksonCon?
No, that's the one in Florida. That was a couple weeks ago that they had the big drama thing.
Oh, gotcha.
No, I want to go to that one too. I want to go to Adepticon just to see more of the Warhammer side of it. But Acme, yes. Acme, that's the one I would love to go to. It's gonna be a minute, but I would love to go to that show on the East Coast at least.
Yeah, for sure.
And then on the West Coast, there's a couple people that tell me the LA area is really, really hopping right now for hobby stuff. I don't know about Northern California very much, but
me either. Yeah.
But I know here in Oregon, they're the Portland crew. They just started meeting again because they how do I say this? They just started meeting again because we got all those mask mandates taken away finally.
Yeah. And
so they're starting to meet up again. And same with the Mid-Valley crew. I love the Mid-Valley crew. The Mid-Valley crew is awesome because they even do a Zoom call every other Thursday now, because every other Thursday they're going to start meeting up in person.
Where are they at? Where are they at?
So I think they changed it. They were at a Lebanon is where they would meet up.
Okay.
Yeah. See, Callie is killing right now. Yeah. So it's, so up here, we're starting to pick back up. Like, I'm hoping in September they'll do the Portland show.
Oh, okay.
I'm really, really hoping they will do the Portland show. But, time will tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know the Mid-Valley crew just did their show 2 weeks ago, and they had a good turnout. I didn't go to that one because, I was busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to do something even around Eugene, Cottage Grove area, but it's getting people to travel.
Right. Exactly.
It is what it is.
Indeed.
If you don't have any other questions for me, I'm going to end this.
Okay. I think that sounds good.
But, thank you for, I know we had to do this on Sunday because of the work schedule thing,
Right.
but I'm glad we were able to make this work. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I will talk to you in a couple minutes, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. So that's Todd H. I hope everybody, learned something as much as I did. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next week. I think I'm not sure. Oh, Jay Hart is supposed to be on next week, I think. And I will see you guys later. Bye.